against the Dodgers. You go into that first game and you put up no runs. Backed by a really solid Blake Snell start, you would have thought, Blake Snell goes 5 2/3, allows 1 run, pitches a really good game, gets his ERA down to 4 finally, but in his past 6-7 starts, he has around a 2.5 ERA, something like that. He's been fantastic. Normally you win that game. Nonetheless, a play at the plate, one of the craziest plays that I can think of this season, where a fingertip, makes it a tie game and they go into extra innings. So that was definitely one of the craziest things. That's the thing about baseball. It's such a fun sport to watch, where it's a game of inches, and I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. But that was a super fun play, and I feel like a lot of Padres fans are like, why would you send him? Why would you send him? I'm sending the guy 10 out of 10 times. You're in an offensive drought. I mean, you make him make the perfect play, and the Giants made the perfect play nonetheless. So that was a really solid play by the Giants. Really, that was somewhat of a fun game, but didn't end our way.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to get overturned, to be honest.
I didn't think so either. I was telling Matt, if he wears one of those oven mitts that the players wear, he's probably safe, because they don't see him not touch the plate. But everyone goes into panic mode. All the Padres fans go into panic mode, knowing that the Padres haven't scored a run in 23 innings. So what do they do after that? They put up 20 runs in 18 innings. So, I mean, the offensive explosion was bound to happen. You get a guy like a few guys, Soto, Drury, Bell, you get some big bats, they're bound to come through. So it was really good to see today and yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are talking about the 1-0 baseball game being an exciting game. Maybe not till the end. But dude, it's literally like we're talking about the oven. You said the oven mitt, like the one that Kim wears. Dude, when they showed the replay, every time, like before the very last one, I didn't think that they were going to be able to overturn it. And then they overturned it, and they showed one more replay, and he literally like a fingertip away from home plate. It was crazy. So yeah, definitely Potter's able to capitalize on the Giants bullpen. And Hum Baby, you were talking about that a little bit, just saying that the Giants bullpen has just been a disaster, which is something that we've been feeling as well.
I mean, that's bullpens in baseball a lot. If they were really good, they'd be starters for the most part. But still, our bullpen has been crap. And we have a couple of guys have been okay. That's about it. And Tyler Rogers, I think, blew a game. Then today it was Junior Marte, who just couldn't get out. That inning felt like it was like 2 hours long. At bottom of the sixth or whenever it was. Bottom of the sixth inning, y'all scored 7 runs. That was just a nightmare. So, the bullpen is bad. And also Garcia gave up a couple runs, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, so Hum Baby, we haven't talked to you since the beginning of the season. We were making our predictions about where each team would finish. I think we all had the Padres finishing in third and the Giants in second and the Dodgers in first. All of us had that, I believe. I don't really remember. I think it was something along those lines. But so I wanted to ask you, because Giants coming off a 106, 107 game win, 107 win season, whatever it was. What do you think has kind of happened with the Giants this season? And I know you mentioned the bullpen, but are there any other factors that you think might be severely impacting the Giants?
Yeah, some of our players from last year were really good, like Brandon Crawford and Brandon Belt, Lamont Wade Jr. They haven't been able to follow that up at all. They were kind of career years. They kind of reverted back to their normal selves and always injured. Longoria's been hurt. They're older guys. We just got to get younger and get these young prospects up. Last year was like 1 in a million, lightning in a bottle. Everything worked perfect. Everything went our way, and couldn't win in the playoffs. That was a year we had to win a World Series. Otherwise, I mean, I was worried about it, but just older players. And of course we lost Gosman. We did pick up Rodon. He's been good. The rotation's been okay. Rodon, Webb, Wood has been decent. Cobb's been decent. Junis has been decent. Not today, but usually. So it's just been the bullpen and the offense, just injuries and not playing like they did last year. It's that simple.
Yeah, I feel like Brandon Crawford, in terms of the lineup, like just looking at it, Brandon Crawford is probably one of the guys where last year he's in the MVP discussions, and this year he's I'm assuming he's still under a 700 OPS. He was for quite some time. If not, he's probably barely over it. But definitely a rough year, and kind of not really coming back to life, because I feel like he's having even a down year, but not the offensive explosion that he had last year, and especially for a lot of the Giants players last year as well. But yeah, the one guy still though that the Padres have no answer for is Alex Wood. I don't understand, dude. Like every time he's pitched this year, completely lights out against the Padres. It's been absurd, but
Yeah.
that's definitely the guy that they just have not figured out. But yeah, it's interesting looking back, because I remember when we were talking about the kind of predictions for the season, we both had the Padres and Giants kind of like right like in between like second or third, kind of a toss up. I think we all did. I think even Chase did as well. I don't think any of us were like super like, yeah, I don't know if either of these teams, like it's hard to tell who's gonna come out in second. I think we all probably had the Dodgers in first, but it is interesting to see the Giants have kind of started to taper off a little bit. Not really in the second half, but over the last like 6 weeks, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. They started hot. They started the year fine, and then
They
just fell apart. It's all bad. We didn't trade anyone really. We traded a couple guys, but we didn't trade Rodon or Peterson or anyone at the deadline too. So a lot of Giants fans are mad about that. But
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you what you thought about that.
Yeah, I like to go for it. Just as me, I'm a fan. I want to go for it if we have a chance. But I think either way, I think we didn't get it. I think he was out there. I think they were taking calls, but we just didn't get any good enough offers. So I don't want to just trade him just because. But I don't know what the offers were. But if we had a chance to get like a real good top prospect, then maybe I would have rather than trading him. But since I don't know the offers, so I'm okay with it.
Right. So, you mentioned prospects, and I actually wanted, because I don't know too much about the Giants farm system or anything. Who are some prospects that you're kind of looking into that you think, might be difference makers in the near future for the Giants?
We got a shortstop named Marco Luciano. He's real good. Yeah. I don't know if you heard of him. Marco Luciano is like I think he's in, most of our guys are like in low A. That's the problem. Or in high A. But in A ball, we got a guy named Kyle Harrison. I think he's in double A. Kyle Harrison's a pitcher. His lights out left-hander. I think we drafted him in 2020. We got Will Bednar as a new draft pick. All the guys who are ready, like Elliot Ramos, haven't been hitting that well. He's in AAA hitting like 220, 230. So, yeah, the prospects are. I mean, we have some guys. I'm trying to think, but most of the guys that we have are in the lower minor leagues, so they won't even be ready till 2024. So next year, I don't know what the heck's going to happen next year, but it's a little worrisome.
Yeah, that's probably why a lot of people wanted to trade guys like Peterson and Rodon and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, because obviously we're seeing it from the Padres standpoint, and a lot of Padre fans, and I think even us at times get a little bit of like just the Padres curse that has kind of been throughout our lifetimes of like, oh no, this team is not going to be able to hit. Let's panic. Let's do a lot of stuff like that, which I definitely like. We'll feel that. But being an opposing team and playing the Padres over the past couple years, especially more in like 2020 and last year, and then not really that much earlier this year. But when you've seen Tatis and Machado in the lineup, how different does it feel? And obviously Tatis isn't here right now, but how different does it feel with the Padres adding both Bell, Drury, and Soto? Like, how does it feel like just from an opposing team standpoint, just like, oh, like we got to go through the order again? Or
that's exactly what it is. It's like you get one of the best players in the game, and then one of the best players in the game steps up, and you get him out, and then one of the best players in the game steps up. It's like, dang, what are we gonna do? So yeah, we got Soto out today at one point, or I think he struck him out. I was like, yeah, nice, we got him. And then someone else was up, and it's like, it's tough. And then you have someone like Drury. That's the problem. Is Drury's like the last guy you're worried about. Worried about Soto, worried about Tatis, worried about Bell, even Cronenworth and all these guys. And then all of a sudden, someone like Drury goes deep. It's like, well, what are you gonna do? So yeah, you guys got a good team. I think only reason is just that after last year, you guys disappointed. It's like some Padres kind of got a reputation like they always blow it. But this year might be different. Y'all ain't playing.
Yeah, man, definitely. I think a lot of fans get PTSD from last year. Going from one of the best teams in baseball to one of the worst teams in baseball over the final, 2 months is definitely giving a lot of us PTSD. I mean, I would say I was having a little bit of PTSD, and then we got Soto, Bell, and Drury, and I was like, all right, that's gone. We're going to be a good team from here on out. It was definitely tough, like just up until that point, because it was like the lineup was capable of putting up 4 to 5 runs and then going on a little blunder where they put up 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, and they would have to there would have to be a scrappy ball club where they'll have to grind out ball games, rely on the starting pitching and the bullpen to be able to get them some W's, because the lineup really wasn't producing. And we knew the lineup wasn't going to produce without Tatis, but, luckily we were able to make a couple trades. Tatis coming back soon, and I think it's going to be a different vibe come, the rest of the season, where I expect the Padres to finish around 89 to 91 wins. I hope they're smack dab in the, obviously I want them to get 91, but hopefully smack dab in the middle at 90. It looks like we have to win around 27 more games to get there. So hopefully the Padres are able to get to that point. The magic number for the 6th seed is normally around 85 wins. So, as long as we're able to get around that point, I think it'll be good for the Padres. The objective is not to go in. The best team in baseball doesn't always win. It's normally who's the hottest. So it's to go in the hottest team in baseball. But I'm very glad to hear your perspective on the Padres lineup. And
I didn't even mention Machado. He's another. It's crazy. I didn't even mention Machado. He's like one of the best of the best.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear your perspective, because a lot of times it's for opposing teams like, oh damn, we got to face the heart of the lineup, Machado, Bell. But I go on Twitter and I see Padres fans like, oh my God, here comes Bell struggling his last 2-3 games, or here comes Machado struggling his last 30 games. It can be negative at times.
That's a big force. Soto, Machado, Bell, Tatis. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I feel like we're a little spoiled right now. We were talking about. So on Tuesday we had a chat, and this is after. Keep in mind, this is after getting shut out back-to-back nights. So it wasn't the most positive stream, right? Like, we're talking about it. A lot of people are like, "Hey, why do we suck? Like, what's going on here?" And Isaac, I think you brought it up. You're like, "Look, man, like, I'm not going to be frustrated. Like, if this continues for a couple weeks and like we see a lot of like offensive struggles, like, then I'll get concerned." But he's like, "I'm just gonna be happy that we don't have Alexei Mauristo like hitting second in the lineup, or like, a lot of the guys, like, I don't know, Kristen Orfia is like a key contributor in your lineup." Like, it just over our lifetime, we haven't got to see a lot of sweet teams. But, being a Giants fan, you got to see a lot of wild card runs, stuff like that. And Isaac brought up like getting hot at the end of the year is such a big thing. And so what we've been kind of bringing up is that, look, there's about to be a really light schedule ahead for the Padres for about the next 2-3 weeks. And then it's going to pick up a lot of the Dodgers games, a lot of Giants games, a lot of division games, and a pretty tough schedule for that last, like, probably 4 or 5 weeks of the season. But we're looking at the wild card standings right now. Currently, and I don't know which games are going on, the Braves have a 3.5 game lead on the wild card. The Phillies have a half game lead. The Padres are sitting in that 3rd spot. The Brewers are a game back, and the Giants are 7.5 back, and then after them is the D-backs. So it falls off a little bit, but if you've been looking at like which teams are about to play each other, the Cardinals and the Brewers play a bunch, and then the Phillies play the Mets and the Braves a bunch as well. So in my opinion, I'm looking at it, and the big thing for me, and this has been like one of the things I brought up before the series started, is the Padres making the playoffs is going to really come down to winning these series against the Giants. That's what I honestly believe, because yes, the Giants could get hot and they could, flirt with that spot. But also, if you're just losing those games and then one of these other teams falls off, like the Phillies say, the Giants could also end up creeping up and easily passing you up. So I think that, and I want to say there's 6 or either 9 games left, I think, between the two teams. But this is like the big spot for me. And, looking at it just from where you're at, which teams do you think are going to kind of get hot at the end of the season? Which teams do you think are going to slide a bit? And just how do you kind of see this wild card race in the NL playing out?
Yeah, I thought the Padres are definitely, unless it'd be a huge disappointment if you want to make it, I think. But so I kind of thought the Padres were going to be that first team. Obviously, probably not catching the Dodgers. So the Padres would be the first team. And then, I think the Brewers, Cardinals, if they fall out, because Cardinals are in first place, Brewers or Cardinals. And then, Braves, Phillies, and then the Giants. So we're just that last team. We're just trying to just kind of hang on. But we're kind of going in the direction of the Diamondbacks right now instead of the direction of the, the wild card. So, but I don't know. I think it might be the Brewers are kind of the team that I've been watching and kind of rooting against, both the Brewers and the Phillies. So, but I kind of felt like the Padres are going to, you guys got it, man. barring some terrible meltdown.
You
You
know,
know,
the
she's not.
meltdown 2.0.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I don't think it's going to happen again. Y'all know better than me. I mean, your bullpen and your pitching, but I know your offense is good. That's what I know that.
right. In terms of our bullpen, Josh Hader's not going to do that every time he goes
Dude,
out
yeah.
there. I hope so. That's definitely gonna be a big difference maker. Now, the only thing with the Padres is that they stacked up on a bunch of lefties in the bullpen. They have a bunch of lefties, and I mean they got some pretty solid righties still. They got Suarez, Chris Matt, I'm trying to remember Garcia. Hopefully Pierce Johnson comes back down the line, but I think the bullpen will be fine. In terms of starting pitching, Blake Snell held his own. Joe Musgrove had a bounce back start. I'd probably say Sean Manaea is the biggest worry because Yu Darvish has been fantastic, and dude, I can't believe I'm missing a name. Holy moly. Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove. Oh my God. That's my favorite guy. That's my favorite guy. And I missed him. Mike Clevenger's been pretty solid. He had a bad inning against the Dodgers that kind of cost him. But the Braves and the Mets are going to have to beat up on each other, playing against each other 7 more times. The Phillies and the Braves play each other 7 more times. The Mets and the Phillies play each other 7 more times.
There's also Braves.
Yeah,
it's just too many teams in the mix. It's going to be tough for the Giants, but I think y'all have a pretty good chance. But what did you think of that trade, that Hader trade? I was going to ask you. I was kind of shocked. I thought Hader was doing good this year. I guess he wasn't doing as good as I thought, but I was like, damn, y'all just stole that dude.
Right. So it was funny. I just saw a stat that was like in Hader's 3 innings or something against the Giants, he's allowed 9 earned runs. And his other 31 innings against the rest of the league, he's allowed 10.
Yeah,
right? That's crazy. That's crazy. So apparently against the rest of the league, he's been good, but you don't want to throw him against the Giants the rest of the few times you play him, I guess.
Yeah.
But
that was the game he allowed. How many runs he allowed earlier when he was on the Brewers? Was it 5 or 6? He allowed a bunch, right?
Yeah, a bunch. It was like the same amount.
I was just hoping to see him today. I was like, please bring in Hader.
He's been pretty good against the rest of the league. But I was a fan of the trade. I mean, you give up Rogers, who hasn't been very good for us, really has felt like instead of the Rogers of earlier, it was more like, oh man, this guy's gonna come in and give up that run that the other team needs, or he's gonna blow it. So that was I wasn't too shocked that he was involved in that trade. Then you had Dinelson Lamet, who is a big fan favorite, especially on Friar Talk. Everyone knows we love Dinelson Lamet. We wish him nothing but the best, but we understood the move where, he had to move some money, and he unfortunately, it sucks to say because I love him. Like he's definitely a nostalgic guy where you look back at 2020, the first year that the Padres really put it together, and you say this guy was a big reason, but he was kind of dead weight. So I understand getting rid of him. And I forgot who else went in that trade, but getting a guy like Josh Hader for a year and a half is going to be huge. Because I think he's going to be crucial come playoff time.
Isaac, did you say Gasser?
There we go. Gasser was another
Gasser.
guy that we got rid of.
It was
Gasser,
Rogers, and Lamet, right? That was the full.
You got a young guy from like last year's draft, like Robert Hassel Jr.
No, that was in the Soto trade.
That was the Soto trade. So the
Brewers.
Yeah, the Brewers.
I get it all mixed up.
Oh, and Ruiz went in that trade also, in that Brewers trade.
Oh, okay, yeah. Can't keep them straight. Too many trades.
We have a tough time too, but I like the trade.
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll see what happens, but you guys it looks pretty stacked to me. And obviously, there's a whole lot of teams going to be in the playoffs, so you never know what's going to happen. But just getting in the when's the last time y'all been in the playoffs? I don't even.
The real playoffs, 2006.
2006. There you go.
The real playoffs.
Yeah. The 1 year that haunted me growing up was when in 2010 when the Padres were playing really well. This is Adrian Gonzalez, Kevin Kuzminoff, and like a team that I would just watch every single night throughout the summer. Super excited. They were not supposed to be good. And then they hit that 10-game losing streak at the end of the season. Then they played the Giants for the division, and they had to sweep the Giants. So it was either, I forget if it was a 3 or 4 game series, but they either won the first 2 or the first 3, and then they barely lost on the Sunday game. And I remember being absolutely devastated because I'm 10 years old, just like heartbroken that this, Cinderella story team just couldn't get in. But
I remember,
that was my first year as like a like a true Padres fan. Like until I watched a little bit when I was younger, but that was like the first year I followed a lot. It was hilarious.
Yeah, you guys are good, and y'all are going. I predicted Soto was going to end up with y'all. I said like a couple weeks before it happened. I like, dude, watch Padres. They're dedicated right now. They're going to sign whoever it takes, whatever it takes. So I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
So I got a question in the chat. This one's probably a little bit more for Isaac, but I'd like to hear what you think too, baby.
All right.
So question right here: do you guys think Tatis comes to center field when he plays center field when he comes back? This has been brought up a lot. So basically, I mean, right now the Padres' probably weakest position is center field in terms of the batting lineup because it's typically been either Trent Grisham or Will Myers, and both of those guys are really struggling this season. Now Will Myers has been banged up all year, but Grisham's been terrible, and he's been a little hot lately, but not too great. So this has been brought up a lot. I think also a little bit of like thinking about it has been okay when Tatis is back. You can platoon him a little bit to add some power and to get Kim in the lineup. So Isaac, I know you had like a pretty clear idea of what it'll look like. You want to go over what you're kind of thinking? Because I think it's probably the most realistic.
Yeah, the most realistic and the most logical is definitely going to be putting Fernando Tatis out in center and Ha-Seong Kim out in short against lefties. And then against righties, you're going to have Fernando Tatis at shortstop and Trent Grisham in center field. Those are two defensive studs in Grisham and Kim, where, you know, against lefties, you're going to have a Gold Glove. I mean, he's almost a 3-WAR player. Ha-Seong Kim is almost a 3-WAR player. So he's definitely proven his, you know, he's only getting paid $7 million. He's definitely worth it so far. You put him at shortstop, you get his bat against lefties where he bats, I believe, above 280 or 290, and he hits for a little bit of power against lefties, and you get his Gold Glove out there. And then obviously you want to keep Tatis in your lineup. You also want to keep him in the middle of the field where he can use his athleticism and his range and his speed to, you know, still be a productive defender. And then against lefties, you get Trent Grisham back out there, who himself has won a Gold Glove. Granted, in a 60-game season, he's won it, and I don't know how good he's been in terms of outs above average this year out in center field. I know that, you know, during his little stint, not even a little stint, but long stint where he was struggling offensively, he was also struggling defensively. Lately, he's picked it up on both sides. And then you get your shortstop, your I don't even know what to call him, but your superstar shortstop, I guess, is what I'll say. You put him back at shortstop where he gets to be the star of the show, and that's going to be the best way, in my opinion, to be able to utilize Ha-Seong Kim and Trent Grisham. Maybe you'll see Will Myers out there a few times, but I think that'll be optimal for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like a perfect plan, as long as you guys know better than me if Tatis is decent. I mean, okay out there. I know he's played a little bit, right, in center field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, as long as he knows what he's doing, doesn't do anything stupid, it should sounds perfect. Because really, it's about the offense. As long as the defense just is average, and you have some pretty good defensive players, that lineup is going to be insane. You got to get him in there, whatever you got to do to have that, you know, Tatis in there. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think when we're looking at how they're going to play this out, I think one of the big things is going to be, okay, is Fernando healthy at shortstop? Because last year it was a drastic difference, I guess, over the past 2 seasons of him being healthy at shortstop and him not being healthy, and how his fielding looks. Because when he's not been healthy and he's kind of been forcing it and coming back quickly, and just doesn't have his feet under him, like early on in 2021, he was horrendous at fielding. That's where he had like 9 errors in 2 weeks, right when he came back off the IL. Yeah. And then for the rest of the season, he's an above average defender, but it was that bad. And I think he cost the Padres a couple games, honestly, with a few of the errors. There was one where they scored there was 3 extra runs in an inning, and they ended up losing by a couple runs just from a throwing error from him. So I think that's a big thing when we're looking at it from short. Now, if he is healthy, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field at short, just because, one, he's not going to look comfortable in center. Like we've talked about this before. He's okay in it, but it's kind of terrifying to me to have a guy in center that doesn't have much experience at center. He's one of your superstars, and then your superstar is other superstars in right field, and there could easily be some miscommunication. So the idea of that happening absolutely haunts me. That scares me. But I think that probably we're going to see him at shortstop more often than not. I think we'll see him DH against righties a little bit. But to get Kim in the lineup, I think we will see that happen. We will see like him go to center once in a while. or maybe even him in like right or left, and then they put Profar in center. I just don't know how, and I think it's really just going to depend on how comfortable they feel that he is like being out there. So if they're pretty confident that he's not going to make any like horrendous errors or anything, or not call balls off or stuff like that, then I think they'll be a little bit more comfortable. But I do think that's going to be kind of how they think about it last year. Yeah, Jeffrey says right here, Tatis ended up being a positive graded defender overall last year, even with the rough start. Like that was, so he was playing shortstop really well towards the end of the season, but that narrative kind of popped up that he was a terrible defensive shortstop just because it was a rough couple weeks where he was a terrible defensive shortstop. Why would you play? No, not Ha-Seong. Brent asked, why would you play Ha-Seong Kim in the outfield? Not Ha-Seong Kim, just Tatis. Ha-Seong Kim would only play at second, short, or third. He won't play in the outfield unless maybe in a future season when they got him some reps out there. But he hasn't really played out there too much.
So baby, I know. Let's get back to the Giants a little bit. They got. I wanted to know what their upcoming schedule was coming up.
We got some easy games. Well, I say easy, probably going to lose, but we got some decent games. We got a series of the Pirates, and then the Diamondbacks, and then the Rockies, and then the Tigers. So that right there is going to decide if we're serious or not, in my opinion. So we got to take care of business against the Pirates, Diamondbacks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 games against subpar teams. So got to win at least 10 of those. If we suck, then we're not going to make it. That's in my opinion.
Right. All right. Yeah. Hopefully they're able to pull off some W's in there. I mean, so I don't know what payroll or anything for the Giants looks like next year, but I wanted to talk about Carlos Rodon. He's a free agent after this year. What do you think? Not even where do you think he's going to go? A lot can happen in the offseason, but do you think there's a chance he stays in the Giants uniform?
I think they're going to try real hard. I know he does have an opt-out, but opt-in, but it sounds like he's probably going to opt out. So I think they're going to try. Try to give him an extension or give him something pretty big. And I don't know. It depends on kind of how he feels about staying here. But after this year, he's probably gone. So, but I think he can probably, if he wants to win a World Series, he might be thinking to go somewhere else.
And that kind of hurts a little bit, like losing Gosman this year, where you lose like the guy that's your best arm. Gosman went to Blue Jays, right? Am I right there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Blue Jays, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, people are talking about Kepler getting hated on this year. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Anytime you lose, I feel like it's just going to be like that, especially like San Francisco, high expectations after last season.
Yeah, so. Everyone's mad every day. They say fire Kepler, fire the GM, fire the, you lose one game and fire everybody. But it's crazy. I got people in the chat that 1-0 in the first inning. They'll be like, it's over. We lost.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, it's the first inning, bro. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. We sure do get that a lot.
You get that? Yeah. I guess
all
done.
The time. Lose a game, and it's, oh, man, this guy needs to get fired. Who's the hitting coach? And what's wrong with this guy? You win the next game, and everything's not back to normal, but
we win. We're gonna win the World Series. World Series champions.
Yeah.
We lose a game. It's it. We suck. It's over. So
yeah.
That's just that's how it is. Man.
Especially if you're on Twitter a lot too. A lot of reaction. Yeah, Petco. Here's a good question. I like this one.
Good question.
Devin asked, and I will say, I like both the stadiums a lot. I've been to a lot of games at both the stadiums. Which park is better, Oracle or Petco? Have you been to both, baby? And Isaac, have you been to both?
I haven't been to Petco. I've been to Jack Murphy back in the day, but.
And Isaac, you've never been to Oracle either.
I've never been to Oracle. I've been to Petco, and I've been to Dodger Stadium, and I sure as hell know what the answer is if you were to ask me which one's better between those two.
Yeah, I've been to Dodger Stadium too. I'm not a huge fan of Dodger Stadium, but Petco looks great. I need to go there. I'm gonna try to go there next season for sure.
I was gonna tell both of you guys. You gotta baby, you gotta go to Petco. It's really cool, and honestly, the food is kind of ridiculous for stadium food.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And Isaac, you'll like going to Oracle a lot. Oracle's cool. If you don't go I think if you go in like a evening, like not like a night game, I like it a little bit more when it's a little bit warmer outside.
Right.
just because it'll get freezing. But
Yeah.
it's a fun stadium to go to. I really like Oracle. Oracle's probably my second favorite baseball stadium I've been to. So I'm a big fan of both. I would have to rock with Petco though, but I think there's a little bit of bias in that.
Of course. But no, I like it. I like it. It looks awesome. I like how that building out in left field, they kept it in there when they built the stadium. That's awesome.
yeah.
I forgot what's called the old company.
The Western Metal Supply. Yeah.
Yeah, Western Metal Supply. That's sick that they kept that there. That's really unique. So it looks awesome on TV. I'm sure it's cool, but I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, man. When you get out there, you'll love it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple of funny comments. So Jeffrey says if he hears one more person calling for Bob Melvin's firing, he's gonna uninstall Twitter. and Samuel said Juan Soto grounded out, and people said he was a bust right after that in the chat. That's exactly amazing, right. Samuel.
That's exactly right.
Is the athletic stadium bad? Oh yeah, the athletic stadium is so bad. The Coliseum is awful. Yeah. I've been to one baseball game there a long time ago. You don't need to go back after that.
It's probably worse now. They got sewage problems, and it's just falling apart, man.
And the Raiders left, which probably just makes it worse there, I feel like. I don't know if that would hurt or help or what it would do, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they got to get out of the Coliseum quick.
They got a nice field, but the actual stadium is, it's falling apart.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. But, I also saw Tatis's little brother was released today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Elijah Tatis. Elijah Tatis was not hitting too well. Apparently Fernando Sr. said that he has better tools than Fernando. Do you know about this? I don't know if it's real. I think it has to be fake. There's no way that he said that. I think it'd be crazy.
He's just got to be trying to get his brother a contract, man.
Yeah, that's what that is.
But yeah, people were kind of being like, oh, let's go pick him up, scoop him. It'd be funny if they did pick him up. It's more of like a Giannis situation though, where his younger brothers aren't really playing. Yeah. They're not really like guys, but yeah. I'm hitting Angel Stadium this Friday.
I hate Angel Stadium.
Have you gone a decent amount?
I've went once and I decided I'm never going back.
Dang.
I've been a couple times. It's kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
definitely.
It's just not the best one.
Completely agree.
Yeah, it's older too, though.
Mm-hmm,
been definitely around. You got to build a new stadium like at least every 50 years.
Yeah. Definitely agree.
Yeah.
So see a couple other questions here. So I think that we'll probably wrap up here in a little bit, but Devin asked a good one right here, and we can start with you, Hum Baby. Do you guys want Robo umps?
Normally, this is something I would not. I'm old school. I don't like technology and all these changes, and interviewing players in the field is stupid, and I like a lot of stuff, but they're so bad sometimes. I know maybe they're doing the best they can, but it just costs games. Giants continuously, I feel like, get the bats taken out of their hands in the ninth inning. Balls half foot off the plate, and they call it a strike. So I'm kind of ready for Robo umps myself, just to get that frustration out of the way, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. That's
man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's honestly, everything you said, I was like, dang, I pretty much agree with you, because I also hate interviewing the players while they're on the field. I am totally Matt, you look surprised. I'm totally against it, dude. I don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't like it.
It's just cringe, man. During the game, I don't care if they do it after the game, before the game, but during the game,
I mean, even in the dugout, I'm okay with, because it's like, all right,
it's all right. It's all right.
It's a nice middle ground, but I don't know. On the field, it's weird. But in terms of Robo umps, I was just like Eric, where I was pretty old school. Just growing up playing baseball, I always had the umpire behind me. Granted, growing up playing baseball, every umpire is pretty much trash. You grow up and you just have the umpire behind you, and you like that human element, just because that's how that's what you known growing up playing baseball, watching baseball. The umpire in the back with. If you played when you were growing up, you had one other umpire, and then in the MLB you got 3 other umpires, maybe even 6, because you have outfield umpires. But I mean, seeing games where and for you, Hum Baby, as a Giants fan, I don't know if you saw the 9th inning where Josh Hader struck out a guy, and there was like a ball that was a good 3 inches inside and another ball that was a good 3 inches outside that they ended up the guy got rung up for. but
J.D. Davis, I think. Yeah,
I believe it was J.D. Davis. There's a bunch
Yeah.
of
I'll never forget. I'll
Yeah,
never forget.
yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of instances where you can look at it and say, wow, these umpires, they keep getting paid to not do a very good job. And there's some good umpires nonetheless. I mean, the first umpire when we played the Dodgers was horrific, and the second umpire was fantastic. So, there are some good umpires out there. But unfortunately for the good umpires, the bad umpires kind of make them look bad also. So that's quite unfortunate. But when it comes to robo umps, I think it is something that's inevitable happen down the line, and test it out in the minors and see how it goes. But I think it'd be fun to see how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there with you guys. I'm not a big fan of. I'm a big fan of the robo umps just because we've seen some horrific games and stuff lately, where teams get completely taken out of the game. I don't know if you saw it, but a couple nights ago, if you guys follow MLB umpire scorecards on Twitter, there was a Yankees Cardinals game where they said that the umpiring gave the Cardinals extra 3 runs.
Oh,
it was like a
God.
one. Yeah, it was a 1-run game.
God.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jeez.
The Yankees fans were blowing it up. It was pretty funny, like to read through the quote tweets and stuff. But like it was that big of an issue. So I like the idea of having the robo umps. Now, I do think this is a pretty good take here too from Brent. He says, "I don't want the robo umps. We just need better umps." That's fair because there's guys like Angel Hernandez who have been terrible, and they've been umpires forever. And then so if that's what you could go about, like how you could go about it, and you could get a lot of better umpires, and that'd be great. But they don't really do that, and the guys that umpire will umpire for a super long time. So that's the problem. And then Eric asked if has ever been a good umpire. I can't think of any names. You don't need to know the umpires' names unless they're bad. I only know the guys that have screwed the Padres. That's the only guys you would know. I feel like everyone knows Angel Hernandez because he's known for being the worst umpire. So
absolutely,
yeah, I think that's like the bigger issue there. But I don't know how it would look. I also have seen that some people have some concerns about it. Like they're like, look, if Robo umps come in, it's still not going to be perfect. No. So it's going to get I guess a lot more irritating. That's what some people are projecting.
Until we get used to it, maybe.
Yeah, I guess that would be true.
Because once we get used to it, we say, okay, that's a strike apparently. So now we know. We'll get used to it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can, but like you say, if you're a player, you can't just suck for 10 years. You're going to get demoted and then you're going to get cut. You can't, you're not allowed to do it. No job. It's the only job in the world. You can go and just suck and you never get in trouble. You never get fired. Nothing happens to you. I mean, I never heard of no job like that.
Yeah, completely agree. I say that all the time also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miles says he only knows Angel Hernandez and Doug Eddings. Yep, I'm there with you, man. That's the only guy. And then every once in a while, remember, like, oh, I've heard this guy's name before. Those are the only guys I really, really know the names.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, all right, guys. I think we're probably gonna wrap it up. I guess Tatis is just batting, and people are saying that he looks massive. I don't know if you know this, baby, but apparently Tatis put on like 15, 20 pounds.
Really?
So like in a good way, like all muscle.
Oh,
so,
in a good way. Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully that's something that'll help, prevent injuries.
He's rehabbing right now.
Yeah, he's rehabbing right now. Yeah. I think this is his 3rd or 4th game. I want to say he started rehabbing last weekend. So plan is to have him back either late this week. Probably not. Probably next week. I'm guessing that it's the 18th is the game at home against the Nationals. That's probably the date that they've kind of circled. But that would be so huge. So yeah, I think that's probably gonna be it for the stream. Baby, thank you for coming on, man. A lot of fun talking. I would say wish your team luck, but unfortunately, I'm kind of rooting against them. So sorry there, but you are a Giants fan. Are you a Niners fan too?
I mean, I used to root for them in the Super Bowl, but I'm not like a big NFL fan, so I just so I don't follow. I am, but I don't follow them. Like I don't know any players.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, I was gonna say that's my San Francisco connection there. I think we might have talked about this before, but all right, guys, thank you all for hopping on. Had a lot of fun on the stream today, but I think we'll be back later in the week, and then we will do a recap for this national series on Sunday as well. Baby, thanks for joining, and we'll talk to all you guys very, very soon.